All right, so let's dive right in. Today, we're going deep on virtual reality,
Okay.
but not just the technology itself.
Right.
We're really looking at how VR could actually reshape the way that we connect with each other.
Yeah.
And to help us with this journey, we have Caristel Smith,
Yeah. Fascinating guy.
the creator of the hit VR game Gorilla Tag.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's the perfect person to talk to about this because he's really onto something big with this new project of his. This isn't just another game. This is like a whole new way of thinking about these virtual spaces and how we interact within them.
So for those of us who haven't had I don't know what the word is, delight, the unique joy of strapping on a headset and playing Gorilla Tag.
Yeah.
Can you just paint us a picture? Like, what is this game? And why is this game sort of our entry point into this conversation?
Okay, so imagine this, you put on a VR headset.
Okay.
And suddenly you're not even holding controllers.
Right.
You are the controller.
I'm the controller. Okay.
You're a gorilla in this really playful, jungle gym world.
Why?
And you're using only your hands to, climb and swing and, tag each other.
Okay.
It's so intuitive, and it's physical, and it's, surprisingly social.
And I think we should mention, too, this isn't just a fun game. It was wildly successful.
Wildly.
We're talking over $100 million successful.
Yeah.
That's not just a popular game. So why do you think it struck such a chord with people?
You know what? A few things. I think, first of all, it really nailed that, easy to learn, hard to master thing.
Right.
Anyone can pick it up and start swinging around.
Yeah.
But to really master the movement, pulling off those crazy acrobatics you see online,
Yeah.
that takes time.
Right.
And it really creates this dedicated community.
Right.
People weren't just playing, they were sharing tips, making tutorials,
Right.
forming these friendships online.
So it really tapped into this human desire to connect, even if it's through flinging yourself around a virtual jungle.
Exactly. And that's something Smith understands deeply.
Okay.
You see, before Gorilla Tag,
Okay.
he was a top-ranked player in a different VR game
Oh, wow.
called Echo Arena.
Okay.
It was the zero-gravity sport game
Interesting.
that unfortunately got shut down. Yeah, and that loss of community and those connections really fueled his drive to create something even bigger and better. And that's kind of what led to this new project, Orion Drift.
So this new game, Orion Drift, it feels less like a sequel to Gorilla Tag and more like he took what he learned, what he loved.
Totally.
And said, hold my banana. I'm going bigger.
Haha. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Right.
Picture this massive space station.
Okay.
But instead of just exploring it by yourself,
Okay.
you're sharing this space with 200 other players.
Whoa, 200 people. That's a virtual city.
Right. It's huge. And it's not just a bunch of avatars standing around within the station.
Yeah.
There are all these different districts.
Okay.
Each one focused on a different futuristic sport.
So what are we talking VR soccer, VR basketball? Or is it totally different stuff?
Yeah, I think soccer, volleyball, but reimagine for VR where your hands are the main way you play.
So I'm picturing using my hands to spike a volleyball over a net?
Exactly.
Okay.
And this is where it gets really interesting. So you're not just stuck on one court or field.
Okay.
The design really encourages movement and exploration, and most importantly, interaction.
Okay.
So you might be spectating one game and then someone invites you to join another.
Right.
And just like that, you're in the action.
Seamlessly.
Yeah, it's that constant flow,
Okay.
that blurring between spectator and participant that makes this such a dynamic and engaging social experience.
And this ties back to his experience with Echo Arena, right?
Oh, totally.
He's not just trying to recreate a game. It's he's trying to recreate that community.
Exactly.
That feeling of belonging that kind of transcends the digital space.
Exactly. And in the interview, he even says he sees echoes of Echo Arena in Orion Drift.
Interesting.
And you can tell it's clear, he's so passionate
Yeah.
about recreating that magic.
Yeah.
But on an even larger scale,
Yeah.
there's this point where he's describing all of this, and you can just hear the excitement in his voice. He jumps from one idea to the next.
Yeah.
It's infectious.
Okay, so we've got this game.
Yeah.
It's a space station.
Yeah.
200 people playing these hand-powered VR sports.
It's exact.
But it sounds like it's more than that, right?
Yeah.
What's the bigger picture here?
It's definitely more than that. I think what Smith is really tapping into is this idea that VR's killer app
No?
isn't just these like really immersive graphics or, fancy technology.
Wow.
It's the ability to like connect with people
Okay.
in a way that's just so hard to do
Yeah.
in our busy, physically distant world. Like, how many times have you wanted to like catch up with friends or family who live far away?
Totally.
But it just feels impossible,
Yeah.
with the logistics and everything.
It's such a hassle.
Like finding a time that works and then the travel, it's just easier to put it off.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
But with VR,
Okay.
like all those barriers just disappear.
Okay.
Smith talks about this.
Yeah.
He sees VR as a way to like bypass the friction of modern life. Like you want to have a game night with your friends, but they're across the country.
Right.
Hop into Orion Drift.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, or like a family reunion.
Okay.
But nobody wants to fly.
Right.
Just meet up in a virtual space.
It's like VR is this shortcut to like togetherness.
Totally.
And I mean, it makes sense given Smith's whole thing with the Echo Arena community.
Right.
Like you can just tell listening to him talk about it that this is something he's like really passionate about.
Yeah, he wants to bottle that feeling and share it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's not just about like
Yeah.
replicating what we already do.
Okay.
In a virtual space, right? Like, what if VR could actually unlock possibilities that we haven't even thought of yet?
Like what? Give me the like mind-blowing futuristic examples here.
Okay, so imagine like a concert.
Okay.
Right now, you can watch a live stream.
Yeah.
But it's just not the same.
No, it's not the same as being there.
Exactly. But imagine like attending a virtual concert with your friends where you can actually feel the energy of the crowd.
Oh, wow.
And like share those moments of excitement. And you could even just start talking to other fans from around the world.
That's pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah, I can see that. Like creating that shared experience in a way that like watching a video just can't do.
Exactly. Or like picture this. You're working on a project with your colleagues, but you're all in different time zones. So instead of like these clunky video calls,
which are always so awkward,
you all just meet up in this virtual workspace.
Okay.
And you can like sketch out ideas in 3D.
Oh, cool.
Brainstorm in real time.
Yeah.
VR could make remote collaboration like actually feel collaborative.
Right. Like it actually feels like you're in the room.
Exactly.
Even though you're not.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that Smith isn't saying that VR is about like escaping reality.
Right. He's very clear about that in the interview.
Yeah. He's not trying to replace real world interactions.
Yeah.
He wants to enhance them.
Right.
Make it easier to connect with people, regardless of where they are.
It's like, I don't know, it makes you wonder if someone like him who's had so much success with VR already, is this excited about it? And its potential, maybe we're missing something?
I think so. It's easy to get caught up in all the like tech specs.
Right.
But his vision is so much bigger than that.
Totally. It's about like a fundamental human need to connect. Right.
Yeah, to connect, to play, to share experiences.
And he even says in the interview, he's like, I think VR's success is inevitable.
Yeah.
And I'm usually like, oh, come on.
Right. Like, that's a bit much.
Yeah. But like, it's different coming from him.
Totally. Because he's not just like blindly believing in technology.
Yeah.
He gets it.
Yeah.
He understands human behavior.
So where does that leave us then? Like, what's the takeaway for someone listening to this being like,
okay,
all right, I need to figure out what this all means. I think it's like we need to kind of like shift our thinking about VR a bit, you know? It's easy to be like, oh yeah, VR, it's like a novelty.
Right.
It's like an escape.
Uh-huh.
But what if it's actually like a way to like make our real connections better?
Yeah. And the thing about Smith is he's not coming at this from like some like utopian fantasy land of like technology solving all our problems.
Yeah, it's not like a Silicon Valley thing.
No. Like he's been there.
Right.
He saw what happened with Echo Arena.
Right. Like he's coming at it from a human place.
Exactly.
And that's what makes this idea of VR being inevitable so interesting coming from him.
Totally.
Because he's seen it.
Yeah. And it's funny, like he makes this comparison to how we used to think about the future.
Okay.
We all thought we'd have flying cars.
Right. Like Back to the Future.
Yeah. But what really took off, video calls?
Exactly. Like, we thought it would be this like really high-tech thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, we just want to see each other.
It's the human connection.
Yeah.
And that's what VR does so well.
Right. And it's not even just like convenience. It's like deeper than that.
Totally.
It's like that need to connect.
Yeah.
To be with someone.
And to share those experiences together.
Even when you're not physically there.
Exactly.
It's wild. And like you said, this guy could be on a beach somewhere.
Exactly.
Tipping Mai Tais after gorilla tag.
He could just relax.
But he's like, no, I'm going to make this new thing.
He's got a bigger mission.
It makes you think, like, what does he see that we don't?
I think that's a good question for all of us.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's time we all tried VR.
Maybe.
And figured it out.
You never know.
Yeah, because maybe the future isn't about escaping.
Right.
It's about expanding what's already here.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that's a great place to leave it.
Yeah, that's a good note to end on, I think.
I hope this has given everyone something to think about.
Yeah, even if you've never put on one of these headsets.
You know, maybe VR is more than you think.
Maybe the most interesting innovations are the ones that remind us what it means to be human.
Well said.
Thank you. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive.
Of course it was fun.
Yeah. And we'll see y'all next time.